this computer. All right, there we go. I love it. All of those are really good questions. So where are you headed and why?
So we are heading to California,
Okay.
looking at the Folsom, California area, which, if you're not familiar, is just outside Sacramento metro. So it's on the northeast side of Sacramento.
Your family
And
there or work?
so we actually have family in LA, but we don't want to move to LA. No, 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 no. I don't want to go to LA. So what's really, really important to us is better weather.
Mhm.
We're bummed out with the rain, and for me, actually for both of us right now in our careers, we're both with employers that are supportive of us staying remote 100% of the time, and so that kind of takes the commute out of the equation for where we might end up, which is fantastic
That is
because
good.
I've been here since '98, and when I moved to this area, traffic wasn't that bad. I mean, yes, Seattle was a metro area, but it's 10, 20 times worse than it was even
Yeah.
during outside rush hour. So the commute is hard for us. And pre-pandemic, I was working in Tukwila. Our house is in Linwood, so I was having to go through downtown every day. Actually, north of Linwood. We're between Linwood and Mill Creek. But having to go through downtown every day, and that slog that was a wear. I mean, that was a 3-hour commute, even off hours. And so, we're looking for better weather. We're looking for really good school districts. Where our house is a great picturesque area, and in like some of the poorest public school district ratings in the state.
Yeah. Wow. That's in Folsom, or that's here in Linwood,
That's
you mean?
here
Yeah.
in the unincorporated Snohomish County, where we're kind of sandwiched between Everett, Linwood, and Mill Creek. We're just north of Martha Lake.
Are you guys in Everett School District?
We're in Mukilteo School District.
Oh, okay. That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm actually listing a home next week in that Martha Lake area, actually.
Well, and it's funny too, because just the way the district lines are drawn, you can go, a couple blocks in any direction and be in a better school district.
Yeah. North Shore is there.
Yeah.
Everett, and Mukilteo. Oh, that's interesting.
So we've got two young kids, two young daughters. My oldest, she just turned 3, so she's about a year and a half from being ready for kindergarten. We kind of wanted to put down roots in a good public school district area. Folsom is rated really, really high in California. And then even if not in Folsom, we've been looking at some of the adjacent cities to Folsom, like Roseville, which is lower, still good schools, at a more of a mix of new and old construction, but also cheaper housing. So
yeah, it's nice because you can get a much better home and get the school district and we've helped a lot of people in the last year kind of realign themselves in neighborhoods with the ability to telecommute and stuff like that. It's been really good.
And unfortunately for my timing, if I should have done this like 18 months ago before the pandemic hit, because what we're finding, and I think this is true in a lot of the real estate markets, is that the inventory is generally pretty low and the demand is really, really high, which is great if you're on the selling side, as we would be for this transaction, but a lot tougher if you're on the buying side.
Absolutely.
Folsom's market is super, super hot. They're having most of their listings go pending in 3 or 4 days with multiple offers, waived contingency, cash above above the appraisal contingencies. It's just it's insane.
Yeah. It's actually a nationwide issue, and across the Northwest multiple, our area, last year we had 40% less available listings, and we easily could have topped our best market ever, but we just don't have enough people because there's a certain amount of people that are just not doing anything because of the way the COVID kind of stuff. So
So it's going to be interesting because for us to do the purchase in California, we are going to be in either a contingent or a need to sell first scenario so that we have enough cash to do the purchase in California.
So in a perfect world, like let's just say everything worked out just perfectly, what would your timing be if it was just everything worked perfectly?
And that's where we have flexibility. The one thing that I love about our current employment situation is I'm not, being forced to move because of a job. We have a little bit of runway before the youngest needs to start, or the oldest needs to start school. We are, ready to move as soon as the next 3 months. If all the stars align, we've got financing, we've got, this house ready to get on the market and get, out for contract. So it could be 3 months, or, we're also looking at new construction in California. And if we're
Hmm.
doing new construction, I mean, that house won't be ready until next year.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah.
So we're trying to keep our options open, knowing that we want to try and maximize the amount we can get for this home, and minimize our spend on the purchase, because we are looking to get into a more expensive market. The average house prices in Folsom are about $250K higher than they are here,
Oh, wow.
at least from what I can see, just doing a little bit of research online.
So tell me a little bit about your house.
So the house that we're in now is relatively new construction. We bought it new construction in 2012. 6 bedroom, 4 full bath. It's 2-story with a daylight basement. 1 bedroom is down in the basement, and then it's got a great room and a bath downstairs. 3,188 square feet, 3-car garage, and we're in the Veramonte neighborhood in Martha Lake area. So it's a DR Horton construction.
Okay. So granite or quartz countertops?
These are, I don't know what these are. I think they're quartz.
Okay.
I think
Hardwood floors and all that stuff?
Hardwood in the entry, the kitchen, and a couple areas. We've got tile in the master bath, linoleum in the other bathrooms for the most part, and then carpet. So it's not full hardwood.
Okay.
A mix of a little bit of everything.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it?
Given the fact that it's still relatively new, 7 or 8.
Okay.
If I'm being honest, we've taken pretty good care of the house. There is some stuff that's going to be needed, for somebody that really wants to get it up to snuff moving in. That does have a deck. The deck needs, cleaned and stained. But, in terms of prepping the house, one of the things I'll be working with our agent on is understanding, what are the things that we need to do to make the house pop? What are the things that are going to get me a better return? And what are the things that buyers just aren't going to care about?
Since you rated it an 8, what would make it a 10?
I think a 10 would probably be, it needs just some touch-up paint on the interior from wear and tear. We got a small little doggy, runs up against the walls, but it's not even noticeable unless you're looking for it. Right. The deck does need cleaned and stained. And the house is probably a year or 2 from needing a fresh coat of paint. Okay. On the positive side, the windows are clean. I just had them cleaned a couple of months ago. So inside and outside. The roof is clean with no flaws. And otherwise, we're in pretty good shape. The landscaping is in good condition for the most part. I have a company that takes care of the landscaping. So it'll have a little bit of curb appeal. It won't need a lot in terms of getting it ready for curb appeal, at least.
How's the view off the deck? I mean, how close to the neighbors?
Territorial. I mean, we're not like the new construction where they're like 10-foot offsets. It's a 10,000 square foot lot.
That's good.
So it's a pretty good sized lot. We're partially built into a hillside. So the backyard is probably 80-20, where 80% of it's nice and level. And then the 20% on the west side of the lot goes up against the retaining wall. So there's like a little the house kind of built into that hillside.
Okay. So if you were to guess, what do you think it's worth?
You know, based on the comp, if I'm just basing on the comp that I use as my next door neighbor comparison, they sold in January for 747. They were 275 a square foot. We're hoping for somewhere between 850 and 875, and you know, takeaway after, you know, commissions and sellers fees, you know, somewhere between 8 and 820, 825.
How much do you owe on the house?
None. We own it outright.
Okay. Okay. I think I've covered the majority of the questions in the questionnaire. Well, yes, a key question is what are you looking for specifically in an agent? So what type, a better way to say this is when you hire somebody to do something for you that's going to get paid well, what
Yeah.
kind of expectations do you have for that?
So if I may, I'll describe it in traits, right? So an excellent communicator, I need somebody who's accessible, not necessarily 24/7, but is comfortable, you know, conversing digitally, whether that's emails or texts or phone calls. Somebody who understands this market really well, knows on the listing side, knows how to get maximum dollar value from the buyers that are available in the pool, understands market timing, understands, you know, the dynamics of the Northwest market, what buyers are looking for, what we need to do to attract those buyers. And, you know, also, if we are needing to have work done to get the home, you know, staged for sale, having access to either services that can help us, whether that's, you know, staging consultation or coming from directly from the agent's experience, or photography or 3D mapping, you know, and then also marketing expertise. Those are things that are really, really going to be important for me.
Cool. Sounds like my resume, actually. No. Cool. Well, Ryan, again, I appreciate you reaching out to me, and this is kind of actually the ideal way to kind of go about this. You know, I got to be honest, I didn't know where your house was. I know we have talked before,
Oh yeah.
and I was kind of like, where are we at? But I think what's cool about this is you're getting a pure result from me. You're going to get what I know about, you know, this market, my expertise. What's the address of your house?
I'm putting it in chat for you right now.
Okay, perfect.
And
Because
that way, even if you,
I would like to round that out with a pricing proposal eventually.
yeah.
With
So
regards
I
to
just
that.
brought that in chat for you. And even if you want, you can pull that up on Zillow or Redfin, see a lovely Google Street View of our off-market house.
Well, here's what I'll do is I'm going to share my marketing consultation for you. So this will be, you know, available, recorded, and we'll go over it. And I think it is a really good way for me to kind of share, you know, the traits that I possess, as well as the expertise and our process. And I think
Okay.
that's all the things that you want to hear, because quite
Yes.
frankly, that's what you're looking for. The pricing of the home is the pricing of the home. And the way I view that is as you are the fiduciary, right? So I'm owing you the ability to maximize your net, that bottom line after everything's paid,
Yep.
including any kind of beginning and upkeep. And that's where I work from. The market, I'll bring you the biggest, the best, the widest possible market because of our marketing program. So we'll kind of start with that. Let me start with how we operate. So I am the managing broker. I've got 15 years experience. I learned under a broker of 30 years at a small company called Northstone out in Issaquah. I joined Keller Williams about 7 years ago. The whole goal there was to try and learn from the best. So spending time working alongside a broker that had 30 years really trained me in the fundamentals. And then moving to a larger company like Keller Williams is nationwide. We can get mentors all around the country. So it's really provided me with the ability to provide my clients with even more expertise. The managing broker thing, that's just extra learning education that's required for the state. And so I also mentor and oversee not only my team members, but other agents in our office here in Bellevue. I just got done teaching a class on some of the basics. It's one of the things that I think in order to become better at what you do, you teach others. So that's kind of my experience. Our mission with the Eastside Real Estate team is to provide a full service, kind of a team approach, where if you hire a real estate agent, that agent may be a specialist in a neighborhood, They may be a specialist working with buyers. They may only work with sellers. And if they're an individual and that's their only source of business, then they are also the person that handles the paperwork, that handles the marketing, handles the accounting for their team, and all of those things. What we did is we said, let's find everybody's strengths, put them together in a team. And so when you hire us, you actually hire a team of agents because
Mhm.
each one is going to be doing a little bit of a different role. Of course, when it comes to the listing side, I am the point person, and I work really closely with my listing coordinator because that's my role on the team, is primarily oversee the whole business and then focus on our listings. Um, all right, so here's our team, and we actually have another person that we added to our team last week that's not on the list. Myself, Erica Mira, she's our broker partner. She works with the buyers out in the field because I can't be out in the field running around helping buyers and really serve our sellers as well. So Gabby, who is our director of operations, also handles all the transactions and the listing coordination. So we just got done this afternoon with a meet and greet with our one of our new clients, and we basically game plan together and we talk through all the steps that it's going to take to get ready and when that's going to happen. And then she manages that whole process with myself involved. So everything gets CC'd and I'm paying attention, but she's the one that's there to ensure that communication gets taken care of and things happen where they need to happen. Lauren is our full-time marketing manager, marketing the team, yes, marketing our listings as well. So the whole idea there is we've got to get the word out about what we do so that we can grow our business. And we also have to get the word out on our listings to ensure. And again, if it's an individual agent, they're doing that role in addition to doing your listings and those types of things. Then we've
Yeah,
got two agents, what we call our inside sales associates, and they do a dual purpose. On one side of the coin, they are helping our buyers find and identify listings in neighborhoods. So we are actually have them cold calling out in the field to try and find potential properties that could be for sale that would work for our buyers. And then also too, when we have a listing, and I'll talk about our listing marketing program, they actually do what we call open house invitations. So we're going to order a list of potential people that would be what we call move up buyers, and they're going to do a call around the week of listing to invite them to the open house. So it's more of a proactive approach rather than just letting them find the open house. We actually go out and find potential move up buyers that would benefit from coming to see the open house on the weekends.
got it.
So, and then we just added kind of an interim inside sales who's actually, Claire and Lorraine are actually overseas. And so we actually created a position here locally that can kind of be the in-between, just so that we don't have things missed, but same role, but a little different strategy from my point of view. Here's about our team over the last 4 years. We've done 120 million in sales, 188 homes sold. Our median days on market is 9, and our list price to sales price ratio is 104.6%. The interesting part about that is if you take 2019, the second half of 2019, it would be much higher. But the
Yeah,
second half of 2019 started to see a little bit of a slowdown until we hit, like, I want to say October, where it just picked up again. And then we haven't stepped back since. It's just,
people realize the pandemic's not ending anytime soon.
yeah, and interest rates just are so sweet. I mean, they're
Yeah,
pretty good now, but they've been amazingly sweet. So so essentially with our team, the cumulative experience is over 20 years. Like I said, I still have that real estate mentor who's somebody I talk to once a week. The cool thing about real estate, with as many transactions I've done, I always get to learn something a little new each time. And things are evolving right now in the pandemic, where we're trying to figure out how to make things work. And it is quite a challenge. Like what you said is like, how do we set it up so that we can have the money to spend when down there the market's so hot, and then I can't have my family be homeless, and then meanwhile we're trying to find something. So we're trying to learn how to work through that, and I've come up with a couple of creative ideas that may go, oh, hey, yeah, that's doable. And some of the things that we're doing with some of our folks.
yeah.
I'll share those with you here in a second. So let's go over the conventional home sale strategy. Ryan, how many homes have you sold in the past?
Only one prior that I've sold, and,
Okay.
and that was right before we bought this one.
Okay.
So yeah,
So
so sold one.
sold one, bought a total of 3 though, right?
Yeah,
Two people.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is kind of the conventional sales strategy is you prepare a property, you put it on the market, offers come in, you respond to offers. An offer is negotiated, generally speaking, it's subject to inspection. You then renegotiate offered at that inspection process. It sometimes takes 5, 10, maybe even 15 days. As a result of that inspection contingency, there are a lot of things that can happen in the meantime, because in Washington state, basically what happens is somebody could just get cold feet and walk
Yeah.
away and they get their earnest money back.
Yeah.
So you have an opportunity for renegotiation. Contracts fall out. Average days on market's 9 days. If a home goes past that 9-day average days on market, people are wondering what's wrong with that house. And when it falls out, you lose the momentum because there's a high level of momentum in that first week. So we kind of looked at that a couple of years ago and we said we can't do that. And a lot of agents, you may have heard these strategies, have implemented something similar. But what we decided to do is we said, listen, the first thing we have to do is we need to know about the product, right? Like if
Yeah.
I was hired to sell a widget, I want to know everything about that widget that I need to know. I need to know its positives and I need to know its negatives, and I need to be able to sell around those things. So the inspection process is really my ability as an agent to know everything that I need to know in order to sell it. Now we've been able to save people over $100,000 by this pre-inspection process by finding stuff that the homeowner never knew about, crawl space issues,
Yeah. Yeah.
structural issues, and that had it gone into contract, it would have created a negative impact, and then they would have gone to the market and made even less. So essentially, what we do is we encourage the seller to inspect. We believe in it so much that we actually reimburse the seller for the inspection at closing. Okay.
Wow.
So as a note, that's an additional amount of money that we contribute to this. So we then review that inspection and we make recommendations like, here are things that should be repaired. Here are things that you can just leave because of the way the market is. Okay. So we'll make those recommendations. And we have, with this process, Gabby, my full-time listing coordinator, she's coordinating right now, landscaping on one house, windows washing on another house. All of these service providers know the type of business we do. They provide us with good, aggressive pricing in a timely manner, so we can have that come in, get done. And of course, any seller is welcome to source their own. We don't have a problem with that. We don't actually, they don't benefit from us. We don't benefit from them. But what we're looking for is somebody to come in and do a great job and get it on the market in a timely fashion without a lot of hangups.
Yeah,
So,
somebody that's reliable, not just
oh yeah.
competitively priced, but that can get the job done quickly.
Well, and you got to tell you, they're not going to get my business if they can't be reliable.
Yeah,
It's, I need things done yesterday, and they need to be done really well, and they can't cost an arm and a leg.
And the
what's
other
really,
comment I wanted to make too, sorry, on your last slide, that whole process of having contract fallout, I was there on our last one that we sold. The contract fell out 4 times with 4 different buyers before we actually had one stick. And it wasn't because there was anything wrong with the house that we were selling. We literally had, in all 4 of those situations, the finances fall through.
Oh wow.
And I don't want to be back in that situation.
Yeah.
When we go to contract, I want it to be with a buyer who has solid proof of funds and is going to get all the way to the finish line.
Yeah. Yeah, because especially falling out at financing, that's towards the end.
Yes.
That's a tough slog. Yeah, with that happening. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Which
That's
is
not fun.
part of the reason why I'm looking for a new agent.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's fair enough. So essentially, once we've disclosed all the issues, repaired everything, and I'll go over that whole process, we list on a Wednesday, we syndicate out for 2 days. Then we have our grand opening on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday open house. And then we have a future review date. Now that future review date is in writing so that somebody can bring an offer sooner, and we have to present offers as they come in. But our recommendation to our seller is to get the best leverage. You need to wait till that review date. That way you can compare against the side, everybody against each other. So this is kind of an example of what listing week looks like. So generally Monday, we're going to have the professional photos. Again, we pay for that, professional video. and we do 3D Matterport tours. So those three things are a must in this environment because
Yeah.
you're gonna get fewer people touring the house. Only the serious people really come and tour the house. So we need to be able to display it really well. And then Tuesday is for our marketing and listing prep to get all of our details ready. It's going to go live then on a Wednesday. We get our marketing launched and all on Wednesdays, syndication out. So showings start Wednesday. Usually people start coming to the house and seeing it with real estate agents using a scheduling app for a private showing. Also with that scheduling app, we get feedback right away. So then Thursday, Friday showings, syndication, and then Saturday is our open house. Sunday is our open house. You'll notice it says virtual open house. Well, we're now able to do regular open houses. So we can do in person from 1 to 4. We have a great, here's an important thing about open houses is I've always laughed at watching other agents do open houses because a lot of times they're usually the agent is sitting at the table. He's writing some note cards and he's like, yeah, come on in, go ahead and take a look at the house. There's a flyer. And that bothers me. Like as an owner of a house, that would bother me if that's how you sold your house. What we do is we put our buyer's agent in there who is motivated to sell the house. Like she wants to bring a buyer and everybody that walks in there signs in and fills out a form. And then she works to connect with them and follow up. She's incentivized to sell the house. If she brings a buyer there, it's a great deal. So we're very, very serious about making every opportunity to share the details of the house. So our team on this pre-listing prep day, Tuesday, we're all going to sit down and talk about the house and look at the pictures and share the details and the ups and downs, because we really want to make sure that we have the best amount of exposure for this house, because each one of us has our own social media exposure. And so we're putting all kinds of stuff out there that is designed to just generate a ton of interest that week. On Monday, we reserve in the event that any additional showings want to happen, and then also pre-inspections. So I did say that we pre-inspect the property, but from a liability standpoint, we want the buyers to have the ability to pre-inspect with their own inspector. So we kind of put that out there that they can do that, and it just allows for them to I can tell you I can send 3 inspectors out there and they'll find 3 different lists of items.
Oh yeah, they always find different things.
So from a liability standpoint, we want to allow it, but also too, the reason why we do it in advance is to allow for those buyers that maybe are starting to run into buyer fatigue by paying for pre-inspections and never winning, the ability to look at a professional inspection and feel good about it.
Yeah.
So Tuesday, we asked that offers come in at noon. And the reason for that is what you said, is I'm going to verify the lending source and where the down payment is coming from. I'm going to actually talk to the agents, learn about their process and their clients, and try and find a level of seriousness. So Tuesday for me is not about just assembling the offers and then presenting them to you. It's actually, that's my day to negotiate. So when the offers come in, I get them organized. Gabby helps me get them organized. And then I'll reach out to the agents and I'll say, I want to let you know we got 8 offers. Your client is 1 of 8. Everything looks good here. I would strengthen this if you could. I'm going to be meeting with the client at 6 p.m. tonight. And then I'll go to the next person. I'll say, okay, well, you're 2 of 8. Here, this looks good here, this looks good here, so on and so forth. Essentially working through the entire list so that they all know where they sit. So if there was somebody that was thinking that we were coming back to them, that's their opportunity to sharpen their offer. It works really good doing that. A lot of agents will just say, we're going to just gather the appointments and then send them to you. And what I found is there was somebody in there, like position number 4, that was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know. If I'd have known, I would have totally done this, this, and this. And then there's people in there that'll say, well, we can't do anymore. So now I kind of know where we sit and who's strong and who's not, and I can make those recommendations. But ultimately, Tuesday night, we're going to sign around a winning offer, and that's going to put you in position. Now, one thing that comes to mind, a strategy that comes to mind for your situation is I don't like the idea of long closes, because we want to kind of get that money in your bank and the deal closed. However, we have been advocates for a post-close occupancy, or what we call a rent back. So essentially, you could say to me, Dan, I'd love to have 60 days after close. I'll pay X amount rent, and it could be just baked into the offer, right? So 0 rent for 2 months. while you have cash in hand to make your future purchase.
Yeah.
And that's how we do it. We do it by putting people together in a competitive set. Okay.
Yeah, for us, that's probably one of the things that is going to be really interesting, and it might be a differentiator, especially if we're, looking at multiple offers and some of them are pretty strong. That buyer that's willing to do a rent back, even if we're not advertising that as a requirement at first, might win the business, right? Might
Right.
get that winning offer, because
Right.
that buys us time to actually get a home identified, close it on the other side.
Yeah, so you can go from one to the other. And we have found, like with the new construction route, like you said, it is going to probably take a long time to close that. So you might
Yeah.
have to find temporary housing before, if that becomes a process. And I would just say you kind of have to decide what's best for you. But from a timing standpoint, between now and probably August, I feel great about listing anytime.
Okay.
I honestly, we're jumping right into it. So if you were to come to me and say, Dan, April 15th, we just booked our April 7th. So April 15th, I could go then, fine. If you came to me and said, hey, I'd love to do, June 15th, I still think we're fine. As you get towards July and less of the COVID and more of the opening up, we're going to start to see people kind of bug out a bit. And
Yeah.
people, that want to just kind of go on vacation and just not do that. So I think August this year may be a more typical August, which is generally a little bit quieter. And I think by that time you probably want to be settled, if I were in your shoes, if you're able to do the resale.
Yeah, and that kind of matches what I had in my head. I was thinking probably between now and June seems like that ideal period, because once the kids start coming out of school, even if it's virtual school, people are going to be looking to do vacations and travel, and they won't be thinking about moving.
Yeah. So essentially, essentially by going this route, full disclosure up front, buyers get the inspection, highest offer due at one time, inspection is satisfied, waived. We're also doing things where in the event that the home doesn't appraise, the buyer brings in additional down payment. That's cute. Your daughter. Hey, sweetie.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But essentially, and we're protecting you against issues that may come up as during appraisal. We're making sure that we get that out in front, and that's just about knowing the contracts and knowing what we need to make sure that you don't get into contract with somebody that can't not only financially qualify but have enough down payment to chart the course. So
Yeah.
I have no problem helping you secure that kind of an offer. So as far as getting the house ready and the things that we offer. So I mentioned inspection, we pay for that. How we handle that is a credit at closing. We also credit for staging. And I don't know what your home situation is going to be like, but my guess is you're going to be living there. So typically we would then bring in a stager to either work around what you have going on or give you some advice, and then you would kind of work the plan. So
Yeah.
we do offer a credit of $1,500 for staging, because again, we believe in that. So we're going to put our money where our mouth is. Now, if you don't use the staging credit, we can credit towards other prep that's done. If not, it just goes against your fees at close. So whatever it is, that's outstanding. 1,500 plus inspection, whatever the inspection is.
Just out of curiosity, what does normal staging look like for this market? Are you finding in most cases that you can, reuse the owner's furniture and just rearrange, or is this something where, for 3,000 square feet and 6-bedroom, we should be looking at, more professional staging to just get every one of those rooms to pop? And then what does that average cost look like beyond the $1,500 credit?
Yeah, I'll answer that in the reverse order.
Okay.
If you're to stage that house, is about $3,500.
Yeah.
That's a vacant house, full staging. Generally speaking, that'd probably be kitchen, living room, master bedroom, family room, maybe another bedroom on that.
Yeah.
Now we have different stagers that will do different services, all the way down to just a consultation that says yes, no, picture by picture, do these things. And that's a consult there is like 350. I think it's hard for me to know. Not
Until
seeing your
you've seen
house
it.
and
Yeah.
your style. I would say usually it's somewhere in between. It's like, what is the discomfort you're willing to put up with? If I were to ask one of my stagers, hey, what should we do? Every answer I get from her is tell them to get everything out and I'm bringing my stuff in.
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't get all my work, right? So I have other stagers that I'm like, okay, well, that's not always feasible. They've got young kids, they want to live there. So what's a compromise? So I've got other stagers that will compromise, that will do kind of a hybrid, and anything in between. So yeah, at the far end of the spectrum, 3,500. At the low end of the spectrum, 350 for a consultation.
And then I guess part of that too, and you might have to answer this after you see the place, is, what is that return on investment, right? What is that full stage going to win me in terms of a better offer versus a partial stage or a minimal stage?
Yeah, in this market, that's a good question. In this market, it's kind of harder to quantify because it's so hot, right? It's like
Yeah.
really. And so I would only say not staging could be more of a hindrance than staging, meaning that if it's really ultra personal, it might turn people off. So I mean
No
that's
wacky
the
paint schemes.
yeah, weird, obnoxious, yeah, wacky paint scheme. But for the most part, this kind of market covers a lot of those ills. That being said, the statistics show homes sell faster for more money. What that translates to now, I could only give you my experience in the past, and it wasn't the same hot market. But we had
Yeah.
a vacant home that looked great. It was fine. It was easy. We put it on the market. We just were like, hey, let's just go ahead. Actually, this was last fall, but it was a condo. Condos were different last year than single family homes.
Yeah.
And then we decided to take it off, and then we brought some staging in. And so before, it was on the market for about 2 weeks before we got into contract. And then the second time, it went in contract in 3 days. That was a condo. It's not the same as a house, but it was non-staged versus staged. So I would rather have a home with stuff in it than a vacant home. So if you were to ask me vacant, I'd say 100% stage it. But if you were to say it's lived in, but it looks good, you're probably okay, because you're not seeing a major return on investment for the discomfort that you're running into.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing for us is, that probably two things. One, since we have a young family, there's a lot of clutter. Obviously, that has to get cleaned up regardless of what you do, just because there's kid stuff everywhere.
Yeah,
But
I
then,
hear you.
Also the only other thing I worry about is, like, for example, our formal dining, we've never used as a formal dining. I have no formal dining table. It actually, we're using it more like a bonus room
Bonus room, yeah.
for the kids than we are for dining. But then also, if we are using our furniture, which I'm fine to do, most of our furniture is at least coherent, but our color schemes may not match, or they may not make the rooms pop. So for example, we use espresso cabinet colors, which can make the house look a little bit darker. Those are kind of the things that we would want to kind of talk through in terms of strategy and understand, what is that return on investment.
And I would definitely say then, I am not the best person to give you that opinion, but I have people who are the best people to give you that opinion. And then I'm the one to figure out how to help you get it done. The good news about how we're doing this is, you're going to have about 2.5 weeks of discomfort, right? The week leading up to listing day, the week of listing, and then right after that. Then you'll be able to kind of go back to, normal life until it's time to pack
you
up.
move.
And so I think that whole transition can be kind of thought through, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. But I am a fan of prepping, of if I was going to sell a car, I'm going to detail the car. And I want the best foot forward. We really want to make sure that we didn't leave anything on the table, and that we gave you everything that we could from our perspective to make sure that it sells for the top dollar. That's 100% our goal.
Yeah.
Professional photography, digital resources. I talked about pre-inspection. We also has a service that will give us an itemized list of repair costs And like I said, in some cases we do them, in other cases we just say, no, it's fine. These things are honey-do lists that the future buyer can do. We leverage technology to communicate. I think that was one of your first thing, is an effective communicator. So, we realize this world is digital, and we can easily text somebody, send an email, and we have an ability to basically track the transaction on a task basis. And that's how we effectively manage a large amount of listings, while providing a high level of focused service for our individual clients. Is we use technology, and
Yeah.
and we work with a lot of clients that are very savvy. So we're going to use digital signatures. We're going to do transaction management. So you're going to get everything digital. All your signed contracts will be sent to you digitally. So you'll have the ability to review, and of course, ask questions and ask me what are the ramifications of these documents. I'll make sure you have access every day to what is happening next. That's Gabby's job. Is here's our list, here's our agenda, and typically she works 8 to 4 Monday through Friday, and then I'm on call 24/7. Not quite. I sleep six hours a night, but
You're not showing.
if somebody sends me a text message about something, the cool thing is, because our systems are all communicated, I can hop in and see what the answer is. And if I can't, then I reach Gabby on the weekends if she's not available. We had something this weekend that came up, and I was able to look in the file and exactly solve the problem and send it over to them. So
Yeah.
we're very tech savvy here. Social media is a form of marketing for us. So we have the ability to pull information on potential buyers, and we can categorize our marketing pieces to draw the attention of the people that would be most likely wanting to live in that neighborhood and in that location. So you got Boeing nearby,
Yeah.
that northern area is booming quite a bit. Easy access, and the light rail, is coming up there. So there's a lot
Yep.
of really good things that are happening, and we can help target people that want to live in that Martha Lake area. That's so funny. You're in the Martha Lake, because I'm like actually featuring that neighborhood this weekend, and we're listing a property right around the corner from you. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and light rail's coming right through us.
Yeah.
It's gonna right up I-5, and there's gonna be a station less than half a mile from the house.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, and that's a selling point. It's a really good selling point. But yeah, through that we target our marketing program. We're syndicating out, so you're going to be listed on Windermere, John L. Scott, Redfin, all of the websites, Zillow, Home Finder, Cyber Homes, about 350 plus websites where your property gets syndicated to. Keller Williams is the largest real estate firm in agent count and production, and we have our own national MLS. So it's basically one system, and basically gets pushed out to all of our websites and our smartphones and all that good stuff. So
Yep.
so essentially, this is the experience you get from our team. It's proactive marketing, technology driven, concierge service, on call. If you need a service provider, something comes up, let's say we find some plumbing issue or a crawl space issue, that's access to our allied resources. Every home that we list, the windows are going to get washed prior to listing, because we want that nice, clean, clear look right through to the backyard. And this is kind of a summary. Like I said, outbound telemarketing, I think that's probably a unique selling feature that's different than any other agent you may interview. Having a team-driven approach. And I think you know what? Did I get oh yeah. Okay, so when you market a property out there, a lot of, like, if you search a home on the web, you're going to go to a website, let's say it's Zillow. And when you get to Zillow, you're going to see the property features, and you're going to see about 6 other competing properties that you want to click on. So when we do our marketing, we specifically do what's called a single property website, and that's designed to just highlight and feature just your property. And I think if I click on this, it's going to bring up one of our condos that we had listed. This is basically a single property website called Redmond Condo Listing. It's got the descriptions and the pictures just like any other website, but there are no other competing properties there. And in addition, here's an example of one of our videos that we do. It's a nice, using
Oh, you've got some drone footage too.
yeah,
Sweet.
we use drone footage on everything. Yeah, because it does a nice little look to the property. And if you can believe this, he shoots this on an iPhone 12.
Oh yeah, I'd believe it. It's amazing.
I
The
can't believe that phone.
cameras on our
Yeah.
phones are better than SLRs that you can buy
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, he's got like a $5,000 drone. He's like, my camera and my iPhone is 10 times better than this. So then, of course, you've seen this 3D Matterport
Yep.
stuff.
Yep.
Okay, so it does the whole floor plan. So you got the floor plan, and you can do the walkthrough of the property. This isn't the best home to show, but it's the one I got linked here. Cute little condo.
Yeah, I'm familiar with this. It seems to be pretty standard now.
Yeah, it was. We always did it for most homes, anyways. Usually when we were up at the higher price points, but now when it's COVID and you really want somebody to be able to kind of see the house, we just go ahead and do it. And actually, the price has come down. It used to be a bit price prohibitive, but
Yeah.
now the price has gone down. So, so let's see what else do we got. Next slide. So I talked a little bit about our open house procedure, but typical open house is going to be signs outside with balloons or something like that. One of the things that we do is when we hold these open houses, well, we're kind of doing a little bit of work before the open house weekend. Part of it is having our outbound telemarketers calling and inviting, but then we also identify several other open houses in the neighborhood. And we actually invite those agents. We give them our flyers and ask for their flyers. So we're actually co-marketing each other's open house, leveraging the kind of the neighborhood feel, knowing that the more exposure we can get, the better. So we put out balloons, riders, all kinds of things. We make a big deal of the open house, and then you're going to get an update after the open house of how many parties we had through and kind of the general interest. That's really so it'll be around 5 o'clock on Saturday and 5 o'clock on Sunday for the open house. I told you a little bit about Keller Williams. Key market statistics. You may or may not know about this. I don't know if we had our Snohomish market update. Let me kind of back out of this because I had asked my assistant to get us Snohomish. Yeah, she got to December. Awesome. From current slide. So this is incredible. Like if you look
listings down.
yeah, look at that. Like 42, 40. Okay, that's pretty serious. Look at this. 63, 62. You are down to actually 1 week of inventory in all of Snohomish County.
Wow.
It's incredible. Now, I know that at the end of the day, it seems like it's easy to sell a house, and I won't lie to you. It definitely, you can put a sign in the yard, you can have multiple offers tomorrow. The key in this kind of market is, do you have a bulldog to push back? Okay, because there's a lot of people out there that are going to bully their way in, and I'm happy to say we do that. So our buyers get
as
us.
long as you're our bulldog.
Yeah, that's right. Our buyers get us to. We actually advise our buyers to go ahead and fire away offers right away if we can. Because if we can find an agent that's just like, well, I guess so, and off it goes. You're just. That's what we look for. On the other side of it, we know what we know, and we pay attention to the keys. If I brought you something that was like a home run and it matched everything you'd want, I would advise you, hey, this is a really good deal. And I would honor your wishes. If you said, fine, let's sign it, great. Or if you said to me, Dan, I like it, but I'm going to wait till Tuesday. I'd be like, perfect, I'm with you. So just know that it's not my house to sell. It's my job to represent your needs and your interests. If I tell you you're doing something that I don't think is in your best interest, I'll be honest. But generally speaking, there is a lot of leverage for many sellers right now. So it does make it a little easier. Just know that you might get beat up when you go down to make your purchase. That's kind of wholesome.
The side we're not looking forward
to. Yeah. So have fun now. I know it's a little bit of a challenge, but so I covered a lot. But essentially, at the end of the day, I think that I answered. I talked about the Northwest market, the timing. Knowing what buyers are looking for, that's an ongoing conversation. But I can tell you, based on the configuration, it sounds like a really fine house, and I know that there'd be a lot of people interested in it.
Yeah, we love the house. I think if it weren't for the location, we'd be happy to stay here quite a bit longer. The house has been really good for us, and yeah, it is a cookie cutter home, but the quality that we got it built, and the fact that we still insisted on inspection, getting the little things done that the builder just glossed over,
Oh
it
yeah.
has paid off in the long
Yeah.
run.
Yeah. Yeah. So many
So,
people actually don't inspect properties and
well, especially
new
for new
construction.
construction, they
Yeah.
just trust that, well, if the county inspected it, it must be okay. But no, the county inspector cares about code. They don't care about, does your
Yeah.
door fit properly?
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I did not talk about commission, but we do 6%. So 3% to the buyer's agent, 3% to them, and then the credits that I mentioned.
Okay. And then how many clients are you representing on average at a time on the listing side, let's say?
Yeah, so we try not to do more than one listing per week. So when ours is listing day, listing week, generally I want one listing at the time. So, while we're probably, at any given time, anywhere from 2 to 3 to 4 listing clients at the same time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but at different stages. But generally speaking, we don't want stacking up multiple. So, we'd rather take less and do a better job.
Okay. And then last question, what haven't I asked that you think I should know? What would be the takeaway that you'd want to end today's call with?
What do your clients say about you? I think I can say how great I am, and talk about this is what our team does, and to me, this is a business that there's a lot of emotion involved in, a lot of change happening in families' lives. Whether it's a first-time home buyer, first-time home seller, someone that's lived in a place for 30 years or whatever, um, uh, I'm honored to be in this position with families every day. And it's hard and it's overwhelming at times, and stuff happens. I mean, stuff that's unforeseen by anybody happens, and it's not necessarily avoiding everything. It's what you do when it does happen.
Yeah.
And I just take a lot of pride and joy in being able to serve people that way. And I think if you were to ask people that have worked with us in the past on the selling side, we're working on a testimonial video where we have some people talk. But one of my really good friends I'd known for about 20 years in our neighborhood decided to sell this fall, and great couple. Their kids and my kids grew up together, so it's kind of like one of those things where you go, do I want to do business with a friend? How is this going to go? And and they said to me, they said, we really thought twice about hiring you because we knew we were going to run somebody through the ringer, because they had a business that they focused on and their house was kind of neglected. So
Yeah.
we had to jump in and do a tremendous amount of movement, and we delayed the listing several weeks, and it was frustrating for us and it was frustrating for them, and emotionally overwhelming for them
Yeah.
because this is their home
It
for
just
20
needed so
years.
much work. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm happy to say we got it on the market in December and sold it in a week for about $70,000 more than we listed it for. And at the end of the day, there was still the process of getting it closed and moving them
Yeah.
out and all that stuff. And I remember I went and had a beer with Peter after that, just to kind of decompress. And I could see his countenance had just changed. He just was a lighter person, freer, and it was just relaxing. And I was like, that's why I do this. And that's why I
Yeah.
took that job, that hard job, because I love being able to be in that position. So, for what it's worth, we do a great job. There's a lot of great agents out there that are going to do a great job. But what people say about what we do, that matters to me, because that's the only thing else that I have to hold my business forward is the type of service we provide. So there you go.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks for spending the time with me today. I really appreciate it. We are actually getting ready to head down to California here this weekend,
Awesome.
in fact. And we're going to be stopping in Folsom just to check out the area on the way back. But we'll be back here at the house the week of the 5th. and looking for next steps then. So between now and then, I'll be reaching out and we'll have some more discussions.
Okay. And then what is the best number to reach at, Ryan?
So I think I listed my Google Voice number, which is the 206-420-6343. But that's been a little bit unreliable on the Google side lately. So I'm going to give you my cell, which is 206-793-3303. And both numbers ring the same phone. It's just Google's
Google
not been
Voice
reliable lately.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you for spending some time. I appreciate the opportunity, and I will look forward to hearing back from you. Have a safe trip.
Yeah, thank you. We'll talk soon. Have a great night.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.